So what's your issue? You were yelling, but you were giving me shit outside. No, I won't give anything away. The dozen trivia is going on, of course, right now.
Oh,
but are those readers?
Yeah.
What number?
What do you mean?
Like, are those? Do you have a number for reader number? Like,
They're the company that advertises with us.
Why don't I have these?
Jemison.
Oh yeah, I don't have those.
C3. Yeah, I have
those
to.
Are nice. I would like those.
Yeah, I have a bunch. Why can't I should be doing an ad read right now? But my brain is mush. What is the?
Yeah, we've done it before. Not what, but I don't want to say the wrong one. We'll find out. Call me. Text me when you find out.
Okay.
So we're in the hallway. Or no, we're outside the trivia
I
thing.
think with the
and
dozen.
you said hold on. And you said Cullinane booked you for 7:00 this morning.
Aspect.
Which is impossible. Which is
no.
not true.
You sent me. I replied to it. You sent me what Saturday? Like, hey, Saturday night.
Yep.
Hey, Kirk said you're going to do the show.
Which
ready.
you did. We texted.
did, but
yeah. It was 9:30. I mean, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't 9:30.
It definitely was 9:30.
It was earlier.
What time did you email him for?
You told me it was 9:30. So I just let him know 9:30. Pod room 1.
I
That's
thought
all.
it was earlier
It
than
was at 7
9:30.
a.m.
It felt like 7 a.m.
Well, you didn't realize you'd be in Miami the night before.
Who didn't?
You probably didn't because it was it was like a week ago. And the schedule probably wasn't even.
Well, yeah, you asked, and I think my original response, I wasn't quite sure, and then you're like, "Are you going to be in town for the dozen?" And I said, "Yes."
Yeah,
and
so
obviously
I figured
I would do it. Can't do it that early, and if you're going to book somebody, tried to book somebody that early on a Monday.
Well, it's 9:30. I mean, it's not that early.
Well, I think it was earlier than 9:30. No,
I haven't heard this podcast advertising in a while, but is this the one?
Superman?
It's from your old podcast.
Yes.
Okay, Felix Gray.
Felix Gray.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
Felix Gray. Yeah.
Anyway,
you gotta be safe.
So yeah, I was just saying again, it was short notice to try to be like 9, whatever. And no, I probably always would have come in on Monday because I got to do my days. But the Celtics were playing Sunday night, so
right. Well, yeah, and I knew there was dozens, so I figured you'd be here. So you haven't had your match yet.
I have not.
No, I've had mine. I won't give anything away.
Okay, good.
But anyway, so yeah, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it? What was the tweet you told me about when I came in from Jaylen Brown? About Jaylen Brown?
Somebody said and I just happened to see it. You see stuff. I don't know who said it, but they were being serious that they thought the reason Jaylen Brown would leave Boston was because of Jerry Callahan and I, which I assume they're calling both of us racist.
I don't think it has anything to do with anything else.
Yeah,
I
think that was when you pull back the curtain. I think that's what they were saying, which is, again, crazy to equate me and Jerry.
Oh, Jerry's a legitimate Klansman. Yeah.
And Jerry don't like me.
Jerry doesn't like you anymore.
I don't know if
I could tell you why if you'd like.
I don't know if he doesn't like me, but he certainly acts like he doesn't like me. I may have muted him because I haven't seen him.
I unfollowed him. We've had some
Smart
issues.
decision.
Yeah.
But you didn't go on his show at some point, and he took that personally.
Okay.
Because in fair, and Jerry and I don't get along anymore. But to be fair to Jerry on this one, like, you don't have to go on anybody's show, but Jerry was pretty good to you way back. Like, he wasn't one of these media guys who was an asshole. Like a Dale,
I don't
like
know
a Dale
that he invited me on his show, or was it you that he invited on this show?
No, I would have gone on this show.
I thought it was something with that. I don't remember that.
Anyway, yeah, he doesn't like you. Well, he thinks he's one of these guys, like, it's easy now, where he's like, Portnoy, he's part of Libstool now.
Yeah, right. That's what I've seen.
Very easy.
But you're saying that stems from
only if you went on the show tomorrow, he'd be like, Portnoy's got more edge than ever. He's super tough.
Got it.
Used to have him on in the old days. He was great. Like that kind of thing.
Got it.
Which you obviously reacted to after the Mintzy thing, with no shit, I sold out.
Correct.
But my question is now, like, okay, I said this. You and I have had 2 contract negotiations.
Yeah.
The length of which is about way longer than this episode's been so far.
Yep.
Shorter, rather, than this episode's
fast,
been so far.
right.
The next one,
Yeah.
if we have another one, will be, 30 seconds, right?
Yep.
So you said to me, here's 2 words you can't say. You didn't say them, but you can, and I figured them out pretty quick. My question now is, does Penn hear somebody just say whatever, cunt one day, and they're like, get rid of this guy. We can't say that word. I
don't think so. I think we live in a society where that particular word is top of the list, and I don't really know that there's anything even close to that.
I would agree with that. I agree with that. But I'm just wondering, like, does somebody get in their ear? Like, do they?
I've said this, and I do.
Do they seem uneasy now that they have this partnership, or no?
No, No, I don't think so. I think obviously this painted more light on it, and there was a bunch of blowback both ways on it. People being like, "Well, Barstool, you're pussies. You're run by Penn."
Does it bother you getting rid of somebody who works so hard?
Right. I told the story when I said, Mintzy, you're gone, and I had to tell him the news. I go, you should have been fired 100 times before this. It shouldn't have been for this.
Good.
It really doesn't change how I look at Penn at all, because I don't think there's a part of them that did this for moral outrage or to appease anybody but a very select few group of regulators who truly hate us and hate my guts. So, like,
I guess the old argument, though, like, is that just a Band-Aid and a bullet wound? Like, they'll get you eventually.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? Like, is that, like, you know, if you just keep shooting guys like Mintzy, like,
Possibly.
So what?
But I also... Yes and no. And Dan can attest to these things. We've been in a million even meetings, even when they bought. You can't say this. Well, yeah. We just yes them. It's like, because who the fuck's going to say it at this point?
Right.
It's like such an obvious
I
thing.
remember an email you sent out a couple of years ago. I talked about this on the show. Like, there was some point where you're like, you guys, like, we can't say anything bad about Canada. Remember that thing? It was almost like
Yeah. Well, that's because...
And I remember, like, I was like, what the... And I think I texted you. I was like, what the fuck?
Because that was when we were Penn in the midst of acquiring the Score, which is a Canadian company, the way they do business in Canada, it actually has to be approved by the government.
But do you think if somebody had said, like, whatever, like, Canada... I would never live in Canada because the winters suck. Do you think that would have been like a...
No, I don't. But even with this Mintzy thing... I, in my heart of hearts, don't think we would have lost a license or anything because of it. Because to me, I look at it and I'm rationally like, it was so obviously a mistake. But I also, and two things can be true at once, I do think Penn believed that. Like, I don't think they were just doing it like, let's be safe. I think they thought there was a legit risk. And I know the way it broke down, like, they have their contacts, feelers, whatever. I think they honestly believed it was going to become a big story. And if it became a big story and we sat there and whatever we did after it was the story, like the reaction, like, well, they're just reacting because of the story. So, you know, it's one of, I've said this with us before. Now, what would they have done if he obviously didn't and Dan said it? And Dan did the same exact thing.
That's what I wondered too, right? Like, what's, like, who is in the company? Who is
because I've said that.
What's the Mendoza line?
Correct. I don't know.
Do you think? I mean, yeah, right. You've done that before in the past,
correct.
Obviously, but that was before the
pandemic. Right? Yeah.
How about if
I've been very clear in how I've handled Barstool that I don't treat people the same.
That's right.
That there's been things that have happened with people where
if Dan had said it, do you think he would have lost his job?
I don't think so.
Kevin.
Yes.
Okay.
But this is a wild guess. I have no idea.
Eddie.
Loss. I think the only people...
Me.
Loss.
Yeah, me.
I think maybe the only people...
You and Dan?
Is and maybe only Dan.
Yeah, you might be. I might
because
say,
it may have been the last straw. It's like, oh,
on
he
top
did
of all
it
this
again.
Other shit. Right.
But Dan's never...
You'd actually... I mean, that would be pretty dumb. Like, you'd almost deserve it.
Me?
Yeah, after...
100%.
Yeah.
But and that's...
I mean, Mintzy has I would say, a mental defense.
He has, he's an absolute, he's brain dead. He's got absolutely nothing going on upstairs.
Correct.
So, but even having said that, for anybody at the company, obviously my experience with it and singing the lyric has made it something where it's like, I already took everybody's strike 1 and 2. So it's like, you can't at this company say it. And he said it. And
so what's a meeting like? So I know that, like, I talked to Erica, Dan, you, like, when you're in the meeting with, like, fighting for Mintzy's job, is it just that? Is it like he's a moron, he didn't mean it? Like, clearly
so the way it went down is I was kept out of it for the beginning, and I think that was on purpose.
Do you like that or no?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You okay? Okay.
And then because
why would they do that?
I think they didn't want me to cloud the judgment on what they were going to do moving forward.
Would you have gone on, like, social media during that or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah. I might have done that.
So then they took, like, I think, a day or two to discuss it.
Right.
And then I spoke with Jay, and I basically was like, I think it's
Were you stunned at this or no? When it first came to you, you stunned that this was a thing or no?
when I first saw, so it's the same. I put the little that old the 9/11 when George Bush gets whispered into his ear. That's what Dan does to me. Whenever Dan texts me or calls me, you're never gonna believe this.
Right.
I'm frozen for about 5 seconds. So I'm doing my morning hot boy walk. You'll never believe what Mintzy did. And in a million years, you're not expecting what he says. He goes, well, he did what you can't do.
Right.
So I hung up the phone and I just walked for 5 minutes. And then our company's so stupid, my mind starts going, I'm like, is this clip still up? And it was. It was like,
oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. So I start all right, delete everything. Get it off. Let's think about it.
Because the clip had already gone like viral. Yeah.
And then I talked to Mintzy, and he was beside himself. And I'm like, all right, we're going to postpone your show the rest of the week. And then he said he was going on the game show. Like, we had that reality show that we were doing.
Oh, you pulled him from that.
And he's like, I'm going to be there for the next week. I'm like, perfect. So you're not doing anything for 2 weeks. And then I thought he would come back after like the 2 weeks. It started escalating. But until I talked to Jay for about, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes, I'd never dreamed it would be escalated to like he's fired. But they spent a lot of time thinking about it. And Jay's right. And it's kind of what I said in my original video. They're not Barstool, but they are a $1 billion company with tons of. It's like, are you going to really, if you think there's a chance that what you're saying is going to happen, that licenses and casinos and your core business is at risk because of Benjamin Mintz, you have to get rid of them.
I guess my question is, do you then put people like that in situations where they can say things like that live?
We had already before start. Now he is so stupid that it's stupid of us.
I like Mintzy, but yeah.
He's. I think everyone likes Mintzy, but he's no doubt an idiot.
He has some intellectual challenges.
And by the way, the one guy when that Alex Stein came storming into the office,
that was a weird day.
He didn't exactly like run to the
cover
forefront.
himself in glory. That's true.
And then we're like dying on the sword for him. But Paul and I, Gaz, had already said before, like, we need to put him on 10-second delay. He's a delay guy. So it was what it was. But it was like 45 minutes. It wasn't even so much saving Mintzy that I was arguing for. I'm like, this goes against
that becomes
everything that we stand for. And I don't know that we'll be able to regather, the goodwill or the people who are our fans that stood by us. To me, that's a real problem with this whole thing. And it was more trying to convey just how serious this was. And they got it. Right. And Jay thinks a lot like us. I still trust Jay 100%.
He's a Dr. Dan guy, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah, my dentist. He's my childhood dentist.
Yes, you've told. Yep.
Yeah. In between Rico just, essentially molesting him at the.
So he got it. To me, he got what the decision was and how damaging it could potentially be. They honestly felt that they didn't have a choice. So it is what it is.
Do you think Penn is happy still with Bart? If they could sell us tomorrow, would they do it, or are they?
No, I think they probably could sell us tomorrow.
I'm saying, do you think they would, or do you think?
No, I think they could.
Yeah, no, I know that, but they're still.
Well, they're not. Unless I'm unaware.
Well, it sounds like you're kept out of the loop a lot. Maybe this could happen.
Maybe I don't.
Things are good. I'm saying.
I mean, our stock price isn't good.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying the relation, everything.
Yes. Yeah. Again, people may not believe what I'm saying. I still trust Jay.
He seems like a good guy.
1,000,000%, and I think he has. His outlook on the world is very similar to mine, but he's in a regulated public company. People can say whatever they want. I knew the trade-off we were making when we did it, and I made that trade with eyes wide open. So it's kind of hard. I didn't agree with the decision. Jay saw the video I made before I put it out. Like, it's not like I ambushed him with that. It's like, here's what I'm saying.
Would you have not put it up if he had said, "Hey, we have an issue with this"?
If he had a specific issue with that,
you would have taken it out.
I would have altered it to try it, depending on what it was. But yes,
okay.
And again, that's like good partners. Like, not a lot of people are stepping up to the plate to buy Barstool when he did. It was one of his first acts. And I'm not going to just try to fuck somebody over who I at no point feel like he's doing something to put us Like, the last thing he wanted was Mincy to do that, Of
course,
so
yeah.
What are you going to fucking do?
More importantly, you were also bitching about my trivia leadership or something. I mean, I don't even understand what you're out there about how.
Well, no, I didn't mention you.
I heard my name.
That was Jeff D. Lowe.
Was he selling me out?
No, but I do feel like, and I've noticed your team, but I don't think you're the only one at all. I think most teams, the continuity and the switching of teams, it makes it as a fan very hard to follow.
There should be a trade. Is there a trade deadline?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Literally what I was saying to him. It's like you can't. The teams are switching. You don't even know what you're rooting for.
Well, I needed Rico back,
which is crazy to me because
he's a new guy.
Yeah,
you're not buying it.
No. Again, I've known him for a long time.
That's true. He's a religious guy now. He's going to. I think he wants to go to Chicago. He was in here this morning. I had Dan and Rico and Kevin, I think, this morning. I think he wants to go to Chicago. But
I hope he's a reform guy.
Well, once again, though, I couldn't believe this. It is now May 22nd, and he's already talking about his contract. And I thought, the text I can't imagine you had, that Dan and I had about Rico's contract. Rico and I had. I was like, I can't believe it's a shame he didn't go to the Odyssey. I mean, their stock is 8 cents. But
that job.
Never. I told you that.
Yeah, that job is never.
I think it was like, hey, we'd like to have you come here, like a flirtation.
I don't think they truly knew who they were dealing with, as you didn't totally know who you were dealing with in the beginning of your.
I'm still not sure.
Dalliance with Rico.
Yeah, I'm still not exactly sure, but yes.
Like I still remember you really. I think you were with me on my podcast the first time you really got a taste.
Oh, when he stormed out?
Yeah.
That was very funny. That was very funny.
Yeah, and
no caller ID!
I mean, I miss the old Rico, but he it's one of those things.
Are you going to break him? Are you going to ruin his mental health?
I don't know that you can. And I don't want to. I was in Malibu. I forget what was there. I was for a meeting in LA, walking down the beach alone, telling Rico that it was like a scene of a movie. The sun was setting, and I was telling him, as a friend, I should not hire you back, because this place is bad for you. Like,
he's doing okay though.
He is.
It's middle of May. I mean,
is there a direct correlation to me
yes,
not being
yes,
here?
Yes,
possibly.
Yeah.
Like, I just do things, and even in my head, I wonder why I do it. Maybe it's a mean bone. Like, I walked in, and Rico stuck his hand out to shake my hand. I just walked right past.
That's just being an asshole.
I know.
I can respect it, but that's just. I mean, that's
mean.
just. I mean, you could be nicer than that.
He doesn't deserve niceness yet.
How long are we talking?
Like a year and a half.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
I mean, he did some pretty egregious things.
He did, but the person he did it to forgave him.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is one of the reasons I brought him back.
Yeah. You said you'd never talk to him again.
Well, occasionally I get a little overreactive, as you know, but I think things have been. My relationships, I always say, whenever I have you, my relationship with Barstool was like rock solid.
I can tell you, bouncing around like I'm butterflies and gumdrops around. I can tell you have a bounce in your step.
I enjoy working here. We got through. We don't need to revisit the things that happened 3 or 4 years ago. We got past those, and now model employee.
Everything's
golf, gambling, true crime, podcasts.
You got out
trivia.
most of the people you didn't like.
Got rid of them. But I don't think they're. Is there anybody? I hear rumors all the time. Is there any company, like a monster within the company, you're worried about is going to leave soon? From a podcasting perspective, I don't know, everybody's safe, signed up, sticking.
That I am aware of.
Is this Will Compton thing? I just saw him in the hall. I was talking about that thing I saw on Twitter. He gets like $3 million a year. Good for him.
No, he doesn't get that much.
They allocate that to him or something?
No, wait, does he?
Is there a rev split or something?
They make good money. I'm not sure. I shouldn't speak for. I forget. But
yeah, I like him.
They're great, and they do great with merch. That's always a good thing. They do good advertising. So yeah, they do great. I didn't know if that was the actual. I don't like when people say numbers. I did see that. I don't think that's accurate, but I could be wrong. I'm not.
You don't like people say numbers because gets other people worked up, or because
generally like.
Well, my argument would be like, be as successful as they are.
No,
like
100%.
I don't. That doesn't bother me.
But it always. I mean, people got worked up when Call Her Daddy was making more money. Like when we bumped them to $500,000, they went from 75 to $500,000. And people
they were killing it though, right?
Right, but people sometimes
like who?
Nate Dogg.
Well, it doesn't count.
But there is a general.
Yeah, everybody, right? Yeah, I remember that even radio.
People don't always, and I've used the analogy a lot. What we are is not any different than a sports team. Like, some people will be like, well, I've been here 10, 15 years, a normal job. That will equate a lot of times. That's not how it works here. Like Manny Ramirez can throw a traveling secretary down a flight of stairs.
Jack McCormick, yes.
Yeah, and hit 1 million home runs. He's going to get paid.
Correct.
And now you may work twice as hard as him and, love the game more and be there in practice, but you're not getting the money because he just puts it up. So there's certain things if you have, like those guys with the podcast and their merch or Call Her Daddy, where there's specific stats that you can point to. Like, yeah, and by the way, they were underpaid, like Call Her Daddy, when they were here. That was part of the thing. Yeah,
they betted themselves. It paid off.
Correct. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about this today. It came up because it was a topic on one of your shows there, where you were there a couple of weeks ago. I'm not saying it's because you're here. I think I said it in the show. You would sell out. You would sell out one show at Madison Square Garden. You would. You'd sell the show there.
I gave you a big compliment.
I heard that. Thank you very much. Yeah.
And people laughed at me for that. I still actually kind of believe that.
How many people at the company can you say? Not many. You can say what you want about me.
No, you have a diehard. The only thing that would be, I don't have a feel. Your diehards are the craziest of the crazy.
I just don't know.
How many of them are there? Because they'll all go.
Right. Correct.
You'll figure out how many diehards you have instantly because they'll come from.
But there's a value in that.
Absolutely.
My question is, I've always wondered, like, I don't know, like
Sass is an idiot. He just didn't get the one.
Well, he's a moron.
He didn't get the one-time aspect of it for some reason.
Right. My question I was trying to figure out is, like, we're on the East Coast, great. If I do a show in Des Moines, can we sell 400 tickets? I don't know.
I think you probably could.
Yeah.
You specifically because those
people just drive
morons
they'll just drive to New Hampshire.
Like that old Hoosiers train going through the night.
The train going. It's like the end of Field of Dreams.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know, but the you should do it then.
It can't be that we won't get Madison Square Garden.
How about the Garden?
I will do it, but I cannot do it right now because I can't speak freely on a lot of things that I'd like to speak on.
Why not? Because of Penn?
Yeah.
So what would you do? When you retired, you mean?
Correct. It's my farewell.
Oh, so it's like Elton John.
Correct. It's the last time, and like, it'll just let it rip. I keep my list.
I know that. I respect that. I do too. Who's the newest person on that list? I actually have it. Let me see.
All right.
That was the one you tweet out every so often.
Me?
Yeah, right? Isn't that like the one that's like Dale Arnold on it and stuff, or no?
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant the
list, I'm saying.
Yeah, who's new to it.
Yeah.
See, it's even stuff like Marcus Stroman's on it.
Oh, yeah, he's an asshole, right?
Yep.
How petty are we talking here?
I'll be very petty.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Graham Bennett's on it. That's Alex's husband.
Why do you have an issue with him?
He took a picture with Sophia Franklin and put it on Twitter.
When?
Oh, right. That was, like a month and a half ago or something like that.
It was a little longer than that, but that's
right.
It's a direct shot at me to do that.
Didn't we like him at Rough and Rowdy?
Yeah, he was the only one who had a little fun with it, it seemed.
Alex did too, but yeah.
Sort of.
That's bad though. That's bad. That's bad.
And there's some times in my world, in this, you maybe will get it a little if you pick like your most hated guy emergence and somebody
we had on the show the other day.
Yeah, I assume that was a fake.
No, we called him. Cold call. We talked to him
a
couple minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he answered.
Yeah. Sure, that'll work out.
He'll wind up being a fan. He might as well be at the show.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
There's people that if you really haven't followed or don't know the depths of how involved they've been in like the Business Insider shit and how deep my hatred is for certain people.
No, I totally get that.
So you may like not really think, hey, there's a photo, and you don't know the depths of like how I perceive this person. So I take
Well, that's a pretty obvious one. Like that's
yeah, but I don't even know everybody. Like, you really have to pay attention to connecting the dots in my Business Insider Mona Lisa, like where one of the accusers came directly from like Mooj and her, like just directly.
I remember that, yeah.
And like somehow I still don't know how all the dots are connected. So there's things like that. But yeah, the list, like there's other people I don't even want to mention yet because there's certain things I say right now in this world where it's not worth it. If I say I don't like somebody and they're black, I'm called racist. Like there's no point for me to deal with that right now.
I would agree with that. do you have an issue with Alex Bennett and her partner talking all kinds of shit and then getting basically body bagged by Kelly Keegs and not showing up in New York? That is something that would not have happened years ago.
Yes and no. I think it's ironic that the name in their show is Mean Girls, and I generally have liked Alex.
So do I.
And I thought she was very, like, she
Playful.
always wanted to work at Barstool. So
Right.
it is a little surprising to me. Now, their podcast is good. So when people say it doesn't show up, again, they're not Call Her Daddy, but Call Her Daddy stopped showing up. And I wasn't like, you got to show up. It's like,
Right.
they're killing it. Now, they're not to that level, but I'm generally like, if they weren't doing anything, as I check in, like, how's Mean Girls doing? Everyone tells me Mean Girls is still doing well. And
That's
like,
good.
So if you have something that you're doing that's successful, fine. I think they should. I always think showing up is good to be in the mix. You get content, people get to know you. But it is ironic. I don't know. It's surprising to me that Alex just stopped showing up.
I heard the other one's not as playful, but Alex was great at the rough and I thought good the rough and rowdy.
Like when the Keegs wrote that, I texted her and I'm like, it's good that they're talking about you. Like, that's good. Like, I wouldn't change a fucking thing.
Oh, it's a great blog. Oh, great shit.
Where are you on Keegs?
We're good now. Does she want me over on that?
See, I love Keegs.
Well, my only issue with Kelly initially was, ironically, back to the rough and rowdy. So if you remember, Alex had a whole bunch of ladies with her.
Yeah.
Kelly was one of them.
Yeah.
So you remember I was with Cupcake.
Correct.
Who put up, I still think probably won the fight. Really put a hell of a show that night. I remember seeing you in the green room after, and you're like, how soon did you know? And I was like, 4 seconds in. So they were all there. So when the fight was over, like, I was like, the best thing for me was that she lost. It was funny. So I went in there, like, they were all talking shit about Cupcake, all of Alex's friends. I was like, yeah, what a fucking pathetic performance, right? Congratulate, and like joking. And they were all laughing. And Kelly Keegs was like, fuck you. And she was like dead serious. I was like, oh, all right. But now I think we're in a pretty good spot. Yeah. I talked to her earlier today.
I think she's one of our more underrated content creators. Like, her rants that she does, it's not the easiest thing to rant. Like, if you go back, and it may not be your cup of tea, but like even the Taylor Swift ticket situation, and she's very good at that. I find her entertaining.
Yeah. We should ask. I asked you last time. Where are you at with like Clemmer?
So Clemmer,
forget. Let's say for a second, talk about him without his looks, and tell me what you think.
Well, that's not fair.
I'm just asking you a question. Agreeing that his looks are interesting.
They're very much related.
That's like asking about me and not asking about me being crazy. You're saying?
No, I wouldn't say that. Blind Mike not being blind when I hired him.
Right.
Clemmer's has a physical confidence.
So you can't even answer the question then?
No, I can't. I don't think it's fair to ask it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Clemmer has physical, like Clemmer's sitting there, his legs look ridiculous. That becomes a blog. Right. I think Clemmer is working hard, and I think he's in the office. That goes a long way. Erica and I talked about this a little bit the other day, like looking at budgets, everything. People who show up in the office, work hard, don't have huge salaries. It makes it easier to be like, keep it rolling. And again, maybe not everybody finds their niche right away. Like Caleb, who's clearly far more talented in his little pinky than Clemmer and his whole body, did not find Sunday Conversation for 3 or 4 years.
Right, you stumble on it.
He was bouncing around, then he found his niche. I mean, even you look at Dan, Pardon My Take is the biggest thing he's known for. Podcasts weren't huge. That was late in, pizza was late. So you don't always find your thing, and I don't know that he will. I think he's like a good role player, though.
Yeah, and those are needed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just blogging, right?
Yeah, totally.
Where's K. Marco?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't talk to him at all? I don't either. I mean,
I haven't talked to him really since.
He went on your show.
What?
He went on your show with Eddie. I remember that.
Yeah, a while.
Years ago.
Yeah. I talked to him around when we finalized the merger because he got money out of that. He was approached by the New York Times to basically rat on us. Like, I posted that.
He didn't do that?
He did not do
that.
Oh,
okay. No, I didn't think he would.
He posted. They must have saw the New York Times probably like
my thing with him,
because they're like, we know what's going on there, and you're safe with us. Spill your guts. He never would.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I said this last time. There's nothing better than Omaha Steaks. I love Omaha Steaks. Update. I've not seen the grill here anywhere.
No.
I've asked around.
I looked around.
This is like seems like the perfect place for it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I know it makes noise in the background, but this door, it's 40 degrees cooler now in this room. It was 90 degrees. You could have actually put an Omaha steak on the ground and grilled it in this room.
Definitely no. Yeah.
3,000
There's a million lights. Like just.
I don't think that's it. I just think there's no air, though.
Yeah.
Is there any air?
I don't see any.
Omaha Steaks is the place to go. With Father's Day coming up. Bacon wrapped fillets, air chilled boneless chicken breasts, burgers, jumbo franks, and many more favorites. Get moving right now. Go to Omaha Steaks. 5 generations of family-owned expertise. This Father's Day, show love to your dad, brother, boyfriend, uncle, whatever, however you want to do it. At Omaha Steaks, the mouth-watering perfection. $30 off the promo code Kirk. Every purchase is backed by their unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. OmahaSteaks.com, promo code Kirk. Right now, $30 off. Minimum order may be required. See site for details. So on that last Chicago thing, that mid-show, I think it's called now, right? Mm-hmm. It was Chief and White Sox Dave and Eddie. And they about Carl.
Yeah.
And they said that there was a show that you did with them that you were like, we cannot.
Correct.
What happened? I mean, you could be vague. Like, I can't imagine. I can't imagine you spiked something because like people were like arguing with each other.
It reached a level where I felt it would be hard for people to enjoy them.
Oh, it got to like that level of anger?
Yes.
I don't like that, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
People heard it, it would change.
Who are we talking about?
It was kind of all of them.
Oh,
it was just so personal.
And you were there for it?
I was.
Okay. What did you add to it?
I didn't say a word for a year. I honestly was basically, I forget how it started. It was some sort of podcast.
Was that time you walked into the office and you looked all confused?
Yeah, it was that weekend.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it turned so personal and so vicious, and I didn't say a word for an hour, but I really thought it would change how people could perceive them. It made me uncomfortable. It takes a lot to make me uncomfortable.
I was going to say, yeah.
I was uncomfortable with it. Like, I feel like a lot of times there's yelling back and forth. It's either over mundane stuff.
Sure.
Or there's an element of humor, or like it's over. This was deep-seated hatred towards each other.
It was just all around.
Yeah. You know, I think it's a lot of the issues that they sort of aired out.
Did you see Carl's video?
I just saw that he said, I have, like, comments or something.
Very strange. I was strange. I don't have anything against Carl, but I was just confused. The whole thing confuses me. I don't know.
So I was aware that there was discontent for a little while. It was surprising to me because I thought they were all, like,
right.
Friends.
Got along well. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, there were real issues there, and I guess working together. So I spiked that. There was one other rundown that we spiked
with them.
History. No, it was me, Dan, and Kevin.
When?
Right when we moved to the first New York.
Oh, what happened? Same thing.
Very contentious.
Between who? You and Kevin?
It was Kevin and Dan versus me. There was definitely a time where they hated me both. I mean, it's anything. You're in a band long enough. There's sways where, like, I don't like Kevin don't like me, I don't like Dan like whatever. But it was, I forget exactly what we're talking about, but it was contentious. I just remember me turning around. It was in front of everybody, and I screamed at them. Right. If anybody has a fucking problem with me, say it the fuck now. And nobody said a word. I forget what it was that it just went off the rails.
That kind of tension is not really in your life that much anymore.
No.
Which is, I guess, a good thing. Right?
Yes.
You don't miss it.
I have a hard time if I'm here.
It's like a drug.
Not getting plugged in and not getting very angry and
What annoys you when you were here today?
Nothing so far.
Oh, so nobody is.
No.
Yeah.
It's just a different work.
Oh, I know. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a hard time being 1 foot one. I'm pretty unplugged in Miami, relaxing, chilling. Like here, I start looking at different things, and it's either all in or kind of very distant.
The last time I basically saw you, I probably saw you once or twice after that week, where I was like, oh, I'm surprised he's not going even crazier on this, was at that steak dinner in Phoenix. That was honestly one of the craziest things. I remember I was here, I think it was Compton was next to me, Jeff, and then Brandon and his wife, and they just all got up and left, which is weird. And then Jeff looked at me, he's like, there's a $20 bill in this.
Yeah, that was crazy. And again,
I almost like but that's not the leaving thing was I thought was just weird.
Yeah, the whole thing. And again, we're in a different spot, even with like, I like Will a lot, and I like Taylor and Bussin' with the Boys. They're different in the sense like they're not through the Barstool pipeline, like they're
in their own silo,
right. So it's like the back and forth, and it was a crazy move.
Would you put me? Where would you put me in that? I almost feel like I'm right in the middle.
Yeah,
because obviously I'm not Milton or anything, but I feel like I've known you a long time,
yeah.
and I interact way more.
You don't have visions of, at least I don't think you do. Like the Bussin' with the Boys guys, I think every day they wake up and they open the Bible of McAfee. And
totally. Yeah, no, you know me. I have my own right. Yeah,
so I love those guys.
No, but they're in it for themselves. But as you've always said, though, so what?
Totally. But that is a different. What I'm saying is that is a different, like the old Barstool. Everyone says the whole different things, like the yelling and the like. Everyone's in this little thing, and then you come up through Barstool and you get big through Bar. It's different. We have different, like whether it's $1 million worth of game. Them McAfee was really the first of that breed, you know. Yeah. So it is a little bit.
But Brandon's different than that.
Who?
Brandon is obviously different than that.
Well, Brandon's just. I mean, he's
another idiot, but yeah,
he's the softest guy we got. I do like Brandon.
So do I.
But
he hasn't had the best last few months, but I do like him.
Well, why? What else happened?
Well, I mean, he was benched by you for a while.
Well, that was
to me, which is like, I like Brandon, but that's
what he did was idiotic.
I would almost say it's as crazy in its own way, as crazy as Mintzy in its own way.
Listen, he said because then he got mad at me for the same brand we're talking about. Right. I made a joke with Dak Prescott, which to me it's like the most no-brainer joke in the history of jokes, and he got so offended and he threatened to quit for.
He is soft as bird shit.
That's what I mean.
He talks all kinds of shit.
But he did say, he goes, "You have all these idiots working for you." I go, I can be honest. Of all these idiots, nobody has tried to cost the company more money than you tried to cost the company. So who's the idiot?
Well, I did try a couple of years ago with that. During that live. To be fair, yeah.
Now I like Brand. It's what eventually he and I always get back to the same page pretty quick because we pay Brandon well. He gets to do it. He's like, I'll move back to Mississippi. All right, do it.
He's going to Chicago.
Yeah. So like I pay respect not through attaboys on the back of your ass. If his contract negotiation was as long as yours.
Right.
He's like, here's my number I want. All right, you've earned it. Done. Go. To me, that's like, what more could you ask for?
Right.
And he also has some weird complex that he thinks I always talk about him, which I just don't.
No, but to me, you never have.
I don't.
Well, what's there to say about him? He's not particularly interesting person.
I do the shows with him. I think he's very talented. But yeah, and I do like it. He's just very soft. He's a give it and can't take it guy because he gives it to everybody.
Oh my God, he's the worst. And then you give him shit back. He blocks. He's blocked like so. I'll quote tweet him or something once in a while, and I'll have like 90 comments from Minna fans like blocked. What did he say? Blocked. What did he say? He's worse than Rico. It's like blocked. What did he say?
Well, nobody's worse than Rico, but
I thought Rico unblocked a lot of people. No,
well, that was part of his punishment, but he still has. I mean, quite a bit.
You're good with all these the fleeing to Chicago.
Like
90 people. You're fine with that. Yeah.
I actually.
Does that change here? Like, is there a reason? Is that just not many people here? Should we have this whole place?
Well, it definitely is Dan. Dan wants to move back to Chicago. Right. So, I mean, Dan and Kevin, you have me, Dan, Kevin, the three originals, basically. Kevin's going to be here. But still a lot of people, more on the comedy side of things. And then Dan's going, I think it's great.
Will you spend time there?
Chicago?
You don't want to do that?
Maybe a little. Maybe I'll go in. But, I mean, really... Who knows where I'll be in 4 or 5 years, 3 years, who knows? I think Dan, which I would say is very good for Barstool, is locked in clearly very long term for Barstool. He's creating this huge fantasy factory. He's bringing the company there. So I think it's great for Barstool.
So you have an end date for yourself in mind?
Well, no. My contract's done in 20 months. So
no talk. Early, though, right? I mean, would you expect?
There's been some talk about it.
Yeah.
Like you said, who knows what they're thinking at this point?
Really? Do you get the sense that they're not?
No, I don't.
What would you do if, let's just say they said, hey, listen, no hard feelings. You've been great. Mm-hmm. We just want to go a different direction. Would you do something else?
I go back and forth on that.
would you want to start something else?
No, but would I just do like a podcast a week that's totally unfiltered?
Yeah.
Would I enjoy doing that? Maybe. Would I? The part of me thinks I'll just be like, all right, I'm done. Like
Yeah, you'll do like stupid videos and shit.
I don't know.
Really? You think you just?
I go through different things. I know people think it's crazy. The pizza stuff, I'd like to do like long form. I enjoy doing that. Like,
What do you mean, like motion pictures?
no, but the old like
I
places.
never when you said that before, I never understood that either.
do
Like
you
Food
mean?
Network.
Yes, like a Netflix, like a pizza show where you're doing like 15 minutes of the spot instead of just eating the pizza.
But like,
You're sitting
why?
down
Why
with
does that excite you though?
I like doing it. It excites me. I think it'd be wildly.
So
popular.
like what? So
like
instead of
Bourdain meets
Anthony
like
Bourdain,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing. Yeah,
Bourdain, Anthony Bourdain.
yeah.
Oh, so you just So it would essentially be a.
Meet Guy Fieri, like a more in-depth, like all the most popular pizza reviews are the old places with unique character owners
Right.
Yep.
who people love talking to, sit down, get to know them, get to know the customers. I think it'd be what I don't know if it excites me because I know it would be popular. So maybe
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this would be a big hit.
Okay. So you would do that. You would do a podcast, I think. Just to do it once a week for an hour. Let's get some guy to co-host with you and just do it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Huh. So you have no idea.
You just ended one.
Oh yeah. Why did that end?
The Eddie one?
Yeah,
didn't
I
think
like
it was
Eddie.
good.
Oh no, you were. I think you were wrong about that.
No, I didn't think it was good.
Why? What was your issue?
I just
What about it didn't you like?
thought it was boring. Like if there were
The inside
interesting
Barstool stuff you didn't find interesting?
but it was very little. Like there wasn't enough of that on the bone to do it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that, I guess. I like Eddie though. I like those guys.
Yeah, it was nothing against Eddie. I just like I feel like I know when content is good and when it's not when I'm in it. And I was getting off towards the end. It's like, oh, that sucked. That sucked.
Yeah.
That sucked. So it's like, all right, why are we doing it if it sucked?
I asked you before the show. People tweet all the time because he's kind of part of our family too. About your dad, he's doing all right.
Yeah, he is. He's
How old is he now?
76.
So he's getting a little older.
He's getting a little older. Slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure he consumes everything.
Yeah.
He still thinks, I robbed him of his career.
From with the
he's convinced he's
with
like
the
every
radio
other
show?
employee. Yeah, the only reason it wasn't like a smashing success is we didn't promote him correctly.
I remember that. Yeah,
I mean, he's dead serious about that. So, but no, they're hanging in.
Yeah. Do you see him a lot?
No, not really. I saw Mother's Day. Went to the Celtics with my mother.
I saw that. Yeah.
But and if they're in Florida, I will see them a little bit.
Yeah.
As much as I can. I'm trying to get better with that, to be honest.
Are they? You should. Are they close to like going to Florida full time? I never met your mom until Arizona. She was great.
Yeah, my mom's great. She's my mom's moving.
How
up
was the
to state.
dynamic growing up? Like for me, we were afraid of my dad, and my mom coddled us. Did you have any dynamic like that? Or
I
was
wasn't afraid of my dad. No, they're both super loving. I mean, my dad is like the sarcastic side. My mom's very like social. And,
Yeah. How'd they meet?
they just.
You don't know?
No, I do know. I think it was like high school. They've known each other from high school. And
That's pretty great.
yeah, my dad. I forget how actually. Maybe it was like Temple or something. I forget the answer actually.
Yeah. But they have a place in Florida too.
Yes.
Okay. Anything from you, Colin, about Portnoy? You're a Barstool freak.
Yeah. Was there ever talks to keep Barstool Radio like in house?
Oh,
like
yeah,
to
we've
replicate
talked
Barstool
about
Radio
that.
internally.
Yes.
Like on YouTube or something?
Yeah. I don't know why. There's technical issues with it. I think at the time, like the Yak essentially does.
That's
that.
what I mean. The Yak is.
Yeah, there
like,
was
that.
talk about it when we didn't renew Sirius. We were shopping different stations at the time. Sirius during the negotiations which I think was misguided a little bit. I mean, they're doing great, but they were insistent that I have a daily show.
Yep.
And they didn't really want to pay. I didn't want to do that. Like I was already like, it's hard to do.
I used to go on that with you. It was Riggs did that, right?
I mean, you did daily radio. Daily radio is
it's
tough.
Fucking grind.
Yeah,
it's a
like
grind. It's exhausting. You would not. Yeah.
And I don't already. I mean, I had a trouble with Dave Portnoy shows. Like I don't want to talk. I have no interest.
Is that weird to say no to? Like, is that weird to say, like, no, I will not do a daily show? Like, that's not for me. Like,
I've done it.
Like Andy Cohen is, like, one of the biggest guys in the world. Obviously,
How long is the show?
He does 2 hours every day, I think.
And we also operate. I did say do it, but they would have had to pay a lot of money for it to be done. But maybe it would have been easier, and as part of the Eddie show. Like, some people do a show as their full job. Like, when we're doing Sirius, I was doing 9,000 other things. Like, and so was everybody else on the show. So we'd walk in, we didn't know what the fuck we were going to talk about for like 2 hours.
Well, Riggs is a good example you said earlier. Like total zero until he discovered this golf thing.
100%.
You know, now he's absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
He's co-hosted, by the way, one of the most successful golf gambling YouTube shows in America.
Did you have Brooks this week?
It was a rough PGA week. No, I wouldn't. Out of loyalty to you, I wouldn't bet Brooks Koepka.
It's tough.
I had Hovland, who fucking just, you know.
I think he's soft.
Hovland?
Yeah.
I thought he played pretty well. I thought he played. He had one bad shot. I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah.
But I was with you during the Players in Boston for a couple of days. You're, even by your standards, crazy reactive during the golf stuff though. A guy misses like a 6-footer, like he doesn't have it. He's a fucking pussy.
Well,
I'm like, well, Dave, the guy has 2 majors. Whoever it was.
Well, let's just clarify. I lost like 10 grand on the putt. It wasn't like I was betting hole by hole, so
Right.
It wasn't like I was reacting over a 72 hole course. I will say, if my guy Jim Renner makes it to the Open, I will go.
You will go to L.A. Country Club for that.
Yeah, I will.
Oh yeah, he made it through the first.
I thought he was playing today or something.
He might be. It's either that or next week. Yeah.
Would it be next week?
For
yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
I think he said June 5th he's playing.
Yeah, it's usually after the Memorial. That's
Yeah.
probably right. That's probably
Yeah.
right. So you'll fly out for that.
I would.
Those guys, I mean, fucking Foreplay's a monster.
Killing it.
Total
Golf is such a good demo. The more I see it, like a lot of different groups are killing it in golf, but Foreplay's up there. Their merch, everything they do. Yeah.
But Riggs a good. But like we said, Riggs like he was, did some good stuff. But all of a sudden,
People who criticize Riggs, and I'm sure you've heard this,
Mm-hmm.
Riggs, Harvard grad, in case he hasn't told you,
No, he's
showed
told
up
me
in a
that.
coffee shop
Right.
and said, I will work for free.
Right.
Like, I don't want really money. Just let me prove
I can do it.
myself. And he just bounced around doing different things, always working fairly hard until he found his niche. Ironically, now that he's found his niche, he probably works the least hard, makes the most money.
Oh, for sure. Every time I do this with him, we text all the time. I'm like, "You're watching?" He's like, "No, I'm playing. I'm playing." Which is good for him, I guess.
Yeah, no, he's earned it. He created it out of nothing.
Who's the worst hire you've ever? Forget like there are obvious ones, but like forgetting these super obvious ones. There's like an under the radar hire. You're like, oh boy.
Well, who?
Oh, like Rappaport.
Well, that was obvious, I thought.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Removing the obvious.
Yeah,
I'm
so
saying.
who falls into...
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Is there somebody
why
you're
would
like...
that sounds like somebody I wouldn't trash publicly, being like, what a bad hire.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah. They're probably like...
Somebody still here?
Well, no, I don't have anybody in mind. I mean, it's hard for me to say somebody's an awful hire unless it's obvious, because for me to be a really bad hire, it has to be the combo of it didn't work at all,
Disloyal.
and they're being paid a lot of money. Like, that's where you look at somebody's like, oh, that was a...
And probably an asshole, like disloyal, like whatever.
Yeah, right. Right. I don't know. I mean, I don't really think of many awful hires besides...
Rapport is the worst, though?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. He's still suing us.
Still going on?
Yeah, I think he refiled.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that just get tossed again? Or how long ago was that deposition? That's like 5 years ago, wasn't
Long
it?
time ago. That thing, long time ago.
How long was he at the company for?
Not that long.
Jesus Christ.
He was somebody who I actively wanted to
remember.
hire him.
Yeah.
I thought he was very funny.
But he had a successful podcast already at that point, right?
Yeah. Losing, that's definitely using the term successful.
Yeah,
loosely.
very limited.
Or
yeah.
you thought it was
But I mean,
successful when you
I
hired him.
met with him. He's somebody who I always thought was very much in on the joke, and it turned out he was not in on
You
the
never
joke.
know, though. You actually never. I was saying this to Stephen Che, who I was speaking to earlier. That's serial killer.
Well, that is somebody who's never in on the joke.
Well, get ready. Like as I said, there'll be a spike. There's already plenty of murders in Chicago, but there's gonna be a spike in murders in the suburban Chicago area. People are gonna be like, "This is weird. These housewives are missing. What is going on?"
But he is, if you went down the list and you looked at prototypical Barstool, he's it. Like he's, and I mean that in the sense he came in through a door that had nothing to do with content.
Right.
He just happened like
He's a traffic guy, right?
the content.
We used to get like emails
Yes.
from him, like
Yeah,
your commercials are
yeah.
58 seconds.
Yeah, he sourced that. He was
Right.
doing that, and I think somebody just inadvertently saw him studying Tampa Bay's
Right, there's
game
something here.
tape. Like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, oh, I've done this for like 7 years to nobody. It's like, this guy's weird.
He's definitely weird.
And he starts leaking into content. Next thing you know, he's full content. But that is kind of what our model has been. It's not as much now. I mean, things change. We hire, again, people who are already successful. That we didn't do for a long time.
I remember last year he tweeted out the picture at the mini golf tournament in the Hamptons, and it was me and Frank each writing our scorecard. And you were like, this is why, which is true. Two totally different.
Yeah.
I cannot crack. I don't know what's going on with Frank. I can't crack him. Like every time I see him, I'm like, I don't know what's real, what isn't real, what's.
I think it's all real.
You think it's all real? But like, so if Frank and I were,
he may amp it up.
If I saw Frank like at whatever, like, on a non-work environment, we ran into each other like somewhere, he would be like that.
I believe so.
That's an exhausting existence.
He's in it. Yeah, but you got to look at it. He was, first of all, how we found him.
Right, there's that video, right?
Was the video of him being
complaining
quintessential
about train
himself.
or something? Or?
Yeah, he's going to miss the Mets game. And then after that video was found, we were the first group. We saw the video. I'm like, we got to get this guy on the radio. So we had him on Barstool Radio the next day. And everything, the fact that he had sleep shifts where like he had been running this blog, Sports Encyclopedia, for close to 20 years with nobody watching it. Right. And he has the videos. So that's when people are like, is he real? It's like, well, he was doing it for 20 years before anyone knew who he was.
That's fair. Do you take this? So I take this trivia stuff super seriously. Do you care at all or no?
I wouldn't say take it super seriously.
If you lose, will you be annoyed?
Yes.
Yeah. Will you take any blame if you lose?
It really depends how it shakes out. I know. I'm very honest with the trivia. I enjoy playing. My two guys.
The team's very good.
My two guys are very good.
Yeah, Eddie was second to me in scoring in the league.
Yeah, and I won the captainship, rightfully so.
I disagree with that, but that's
why.
Fine.
Why?
Because I had to. Now you can criticize me as a. Well, I don't know. Is that me, coach or general manager of the whole thing?
I'll just throw out a very simple stat.
Go ahead.
They won 2 games in the history of the organization when Rico was on that team. When I came in, we hit at like 70%.
It's more of a Rico thing, isn't it?
Well, the captainship changed.
Well, I've won about 90% with Rico. You got that going? I don't. But for me, I would say I oversaw tremendous change within the team.
Lots of trades. That you're a good captain. You're a good player. You're like you won the MVP
3 times. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your award. I don't think outside you got Rico locked in a cage. Like not many people are gonna be like, oh, he's the captain.
One thing you do is you play up your teammates' skills.
Yeah, well, I have 2 great guys, and I'm decisive with the answers. I have pretty good.
That's what flusters me all the time.
I have a pretty good idea when they're right.
Right. That's where I struggle. I overthink things.
Now, I think we've built ourselves a little bit of an issue because we always go food, and it's a gigantic category, and he's gotten very difficult with it.
Jeff's done that with me too.
Where people are doing like movies where it's like he's running out of things that he can beat people. He'll pull up some fucking health snack on our Fatsos so he can't compete.
Right. All right. Anything else, Colin?
No, I guess not.
No,
not really. No.
All right.
Where's Blind Mike?
He's in Boston. He doesn't work for the company.
He works for you.
No, he has his Patreon, so he just comes on and promotes.
Does he do well with his Patreon?
I mean, he's got 600, 700 people.
Yeah.
6 what?
700 people, I think. Yeah. It's paying like $8 or $9 a month for it, maybe.
72. All right, makes a living.
Pays rent.
Yeah, and he's got his
He
disability.
always pops up in those old videos.
Yeah.
I just saw him the other day on something. But you're not mad at him anymore.
Blind Mike. No, I truly was mad at him when I was mad at him because of and I haven't talked to him in a while, but he has a niche, a way to me of being very different when I talk to him, and then he goes and says something off camera, mean, and it's like that would drive me nuts. That would drive me nuts. So.
I remember you got mad at him though for like he called Francesca and said you had died. Remember that?
Yes.
That you should get mad about that.
No,
that's goofy. Like that's
it wasn't just Fran. Well, it's that, and he did something at the Red Sox.
Yeah, but I hate the Red Sox.
Yeah, but at the time he was going in as like us, so it's like we didn't hate the Red Sox.
Yeah, but I mean it was also it was at a competitor's place now, so who cares? Yeah, but you're past that.
No, I don't hate Blind.
Who's your number one enemy right now on Earth? Who's your Murchison? Henry, what's his face? No?
Blodgett. Yeah, I still fucking hate him. That's a
Julia Black?
Yeah, I hate her. Those are
Jaylen Brown?
No, I don't hate Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, the reason he's leaving.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all those people. They still have a one up on me in my book. So,
isn't it worse though when it's somebody who was like a former friend? Or no? You know what I mean?
You would be very much bothered with the same thing I'm bothered by with the business owner, and that's Blodgett, and that's Julia.
For sure.
I don't know what happened. I don't know. I
Right.
just want to, even if someone's like, you can never mention it, here's the blueprint of who said what. Because, again,
You must have major suspicions, though.
He's also a criminal, right?
He is?
Yes.
All right, so, you're the bad guy in this situation.
Right.
And he's somehow portrayed as a good guy right now, but he's a former criminal.
Most people
that must be like,
Twitter doesn't.
My thing is, I want to know how it came about. Who talked to who? Because when I say there's zero truth to the accusations, there's zero truth. So yes, I had sex with the women, but there was none of the incidents that took place.
Do you think people inside Barstool spoke anybody, though, or no?
No, I mean, I know.
I know there. My guess is very highly somebody who left Barstool, who I had some issues with, probably spoke to them.
But they're not.
Just because of their one issue with the company internally? Like, you don't think it was a competitor?
No, I know something.
But
I know something. I think, but yeah.
But somebody had to kick this. Like, how did
they get started? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like, what? When were they? Like, I still
because I think it was like a Murchison type. Who was like?
I would not be surprised at all if he was involved.
I know he was.
So like,
yeah, but I think it was somebody like that. It was like, let's fuck with this guy. Somebody like Julia Black just is like, great, let's do it. We don't care if it's true or not. Like, who gives a fuck? We're gonna get tons of attention. Off we go. Like, I think if you overthink, it's not that complicated. It's a bunch of people who wanted to fuck with you. They fucked with you.
Like, how does Mooj, who used to work here, and Sophia Franklin, how are they the ones who found a girl who, and I know Sophia at one point was like, if you have any stories, but on the podcast, one of the girls was like, yeah, I found out, like, he knew Dave, and Mooj connected me with Julia Black. It's like, what? How does?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
That Graham Bennett thing would bother me.
Yeah,
that would bother me when I think about it. That would be like. I'm trying to think of a comparison for me, but yeah, that would.
It'd be somebody taking a picture with
Murchison
and like posting.
Yeah, that would bother me. That would definitely bother me.
Yeah. So.
Do you think that was done purposely as a fuck you to you?
I
don't think he's.
I think it's more maybe jokey. I wouldn't have seen it, to be honest. Alex sent it to me. I'm like, oh my god.
Is it a joke? She sent it.
Yeah. And again, I don't know if people realize the depths of how involved I'm pretty convinced she was and all that other shit. So.
You think very, very much so?
I think very much so. I mean, she went through Sophia at one point on her Instagram story. She'd post and delete it. Do you have any stories about Dave, like sexual deviancy stories?
Did she delete it?
She'd post it, delete it, post it, delete it.
And like it's just that she's bitter at how it ended here.
I think so, yeah.
But she fucked up.
She totally fucked up.
You would have kept just her?
Yes, I would have.
Yeah. Is she
first one move? And by the way,
is her thing successful or no?
What's that?
Is her
I
thing?
don't know. By the way, you can be bitter. I didn't tell one lie in that entire. Lies were being told about me. There's a difference. You be as mean as you want about me, but tell the truth.
That was not happening.
That was not.
They also fucked you over, and you still gave them what they wanted, didn't you? Like, they tried to pull one on you.
Call her Abby initially.
Yeah. Like, how are you that big of an asshole if they tried to, like, sneak one by you and you wouldn't
I danced on the grave hard.
Sure.
Hard.
Yeah.
Like
with that Peter Nelson guy?
Yeah.
He was a shit.
Yeah, he was an idiot.
What happened to him? He was like at HBO or something?
Can't even find him anymore.
Yeah.
Really?
I think he's involved in boxing or something. Somebody saw him pop up. He used to be the HBO boxing. But no, I danced on that grave like really, really hard. Really hard.
Yeah, but you should. Don't
and rightfully so. So. Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with who you're playing in trivia, you know?
No.
You don't know?
No.
Okay.
I know who we have if we win, if we're lucky enough to advance. It's either the Honkers or Will.
Oh, Will's the booze team or whatever?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I like him. I sat next to him in Arizona. He was a nice enough guy.
He's a very nice guy. He's very talented. He's smart. He looked at, I think, a lot of what McAfee did, and he's a guy who can make a lot more money. It's crazy. Like like Greg Olson. I was talking to. I love Greg. He's
nice guy.
He made more money.
Followers with him now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made more money this year than he made any year.
Maybe a former
football.
Odyssey employee as well.
Who's that?
Just see a lot of likes on LinkedIn.
Who, Mikey Fowler?
Yeah, somebody who left Odyssey recently that we talked about.
Who?
Two guys.
He's not at that old job?
Which one?
Mikey Fowler?
No, he's still there.
See what happened right there is you tried to talk Cullinane, and you can't do it because I don't know what the fuck he's talking
You've mentioned two Odyssey employees in the past that
You
got
mentioned
fired.
Mikey Fowler.
Then just say their names.
Tim Murphy.
Oh, okay. What about him?
Yeah, he's over there, I think.
Who is?
Tim Murphy is with.
Okay, do you have any idea what he's talking about?
Tim Murphy?
He used to work at the. I used to work in the EI.
Got it.
But you don't. But like, what are you talking
Now
about?
I forget how it came up. But it
Who
came
like?
up
Who's
for a
liking
reason.
what?
Tim Murphy is somehow in cahoots with that company. Not necessarily a
What
bad
company?
thing, but it works. Mikey Fowler's company.
Who
No,
cares?
But you can't. Here's a little thing, David Cullen.
What the- what-
If you
what are you
say the
talking
word-
about?
If you say the word,
It came up somehow. I'm
If
just
you,
trying to.
yeah, but if you say the word cahoots,
Oh, I don't mean in
that-
a negative way,
Well,
but we
but
didn't
that
like-
is a negative
but we didn't-
word.
We don't like all.
But I don't even know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
but
two
no,
people.
but you can't. What you
Forget
said-
that, but do you even
said
know-
they were
do you
in
even know-
cahoots.
do you-
I know Mikey Fowler's company's Greg Olson. I assume.
No, I
that's
know
how
that.
they-
Mikey,
Great company,
Mikey
two good
loves.
guys.
Right, so you can't say they're in cahoots.
Cahoots is a bad word.
Yeah.
No, but then you also say like two employees we talked about. When?
You just said who's the other
When?
dipshit that got fired that you hated from Odyssey?
Mike D. When did we talk about them?
2 weeks ago they got
Who's
fired
Mike
from
D?
Odyssey.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but you just said two guys we were just talking
I
about.
don't.
He's here. He has no idea.
No.
He has never listened to the show.
Two
He has
guys
no
that
idea
we
what you're
have
talking about.
talked about somehow.
No,
is big. But whatever,
I
it's not a big
occasionally listen when you have Mutt on.
Oh, you like that?
I like Mutt. Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh,
yes.
Wait a minute. Let me.
He's a horse racing guy.
Can I make a pitch for Mud?
You want what for what?
Loves horses.
Yeah, I know.
Put him with your boy.
Elio.
Let him do a horse racing podcast together. It's small crowd, niche crowd. I'm not saying you pay the guy a fortune.
Niche is
You'd listen to it.
niche is
Horse racing.
It's super niche.
What are you doing? You're selling. Stop.
it's-
You don't sell Mud out.
Well, you need more than that. It needs to be a bigger thing.
It's a
like Mutt
start.
needs to be with
It's a
you
start.
once a week.
Let's not- let's
Elio
not-
probably needs to
let's
be
not-
with you.
No,
and
let's
then
not.
they come together.
Let's
and
not.
form
Let's
a
not burden me
podcast.
with that. What I'm saying is,
there is no audience for horse racing.
you love it.
I love it, but there's no
Are
audience.
there any horses left? They're all dead.
Listen. That's a tough thing for me to comprehend. I don't like that.
They shot any today, or are they going to day
I
off?
haven't
You're a
touched
what
it.
guy?
I'm a huge animal
I know.
guy.
That's the thing
It's
with you.
tough to-
Are you removing yourself from horse
No,
racing?
no, but it's.
Why can't they, like, if they, my daughter does horses, but like, if a horse sprains his ankle, why have to shoot it?
Well, that is clearly it doesn't heal right.
Yeah, but they can't do anything.
The argument would be a horse running in the field is gonna like same off chance of hurting themselves. You don't want drugs. I don't think they should.
I don't see a lot of that, though.
I don't think they should have whips. Well, you're probably not in the fields where the horses are.
Not much. Not much.
Yeah,
All right, Mutt,
yeah. I think he's good with you.
unemployed. Like,
Sad.
no success in radio without me. Like, no, we're talking none.
Yeah.
Can we toss him like a sympathy horse racing podcast with Ilya, who you like, your best friend, right? Who I like too, good guy. Throw him a couple of bucks per podcast.
He can do more than just horse racing too.
We're starting. Shut up,
Yeah.
Dave. We're starting small. He'll never have another.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, he's going
What's
to
he
be
gonna go do?
a greeter at Walmart.
How does he have kids?
Yeah, he's got two kids. They're both very sick now because they haven't eaten in 3-4 months.
It's
How niche are we talking?
It's quite literally the worst pitch for an employee. Ever. Like,
He's
hey, I
probably
got
the
a
wor-
guy who wants a horse racing podcast.
Well, in fairness, he hasn't pitched it to me.
Right.
I would love to make a better case. Would you be willing to, if I have him on one of these days, you'd be willing to call in and hear a pitch from him?
yeah, sure.
You would do that.
I would.
You've always liked Mud.
Yeah, I'd listen to a pitch.
Okay. What would maybe work? What's the average age of a horse race fan?
Horse racing will not work.
Do you think you could make like a horse racing YouTube channel that would get numbers? If it was super dialed in, super
It's
niche? Well, do you consume it?
I feel like it's a younger crowd.
No, not really.
Well, you don't listen to any podcasts or anything, though.
It's just hard. Horse racing is so hard. Like there are.
Tweet out the Portnoy confirms he listens to the show and Mutt's on. They'll make Mutt's
No, I
day.
think Mutt's good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fine. I mean, he's what he is, but he's my friend. I'm trying to get him.
Yeah,
Your buddy, my buddy, do a horse racing. But he's a wacky guy, Ilio.
He is, but it's.
Ilio is I like him, but boy, it's a lot on Twitter. I don't even know what the fuck is going on.
He shut it down today. He
did?
He did like a 5-minute. It sounded like a pitcher at a dead arm who's like, toward the end, he's like, I'm shutting it down.
He's like that. He'll just talk about like a dance recital and then scream. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I love the guy.
He's I've known him for a long time.
How long you know him for? You grew up with him?
No, so he grew up. He went to college with one of my best friends, Todd McShay.
Oh.
So since college,
How's he doing?
McShay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. He had that weird thing, right?
Yeah, but he's
okay
back.
now.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I was like McShay.
Yeah.
So they went to school together.
Yeah, they live together.
Oh, they did. All right.
Yeah.
So what's a good pitch then?
Remember my short form sports podcast? Mutt would be great for that.
You want to hear a bad idea?
No.
Go ahead.
It really should be PMT Daily with whatever.
Just pitch the idea.
But basically, the Daily from New York Times is 15, 20 minutes, national headline news. Somebody from Barstool should do it about sports.
how vanilla is that?
Now,
though?
unfortunately, that's not Barstool.
Like the old sports flash.
Yeah, it's like George Michael, the
No.
sports machine.
Well,
Remember?
what are you going to do? You're going to badmouth the New York Times, the Daily. You're going to badmouth NPR that does it. They're all at the top of the charts. And they're doing it for shitty
You
politics.
have guys. Yeah, but here's what you understand is like politics.
Politics always move.
And you could talk about it. You could talk about a story from yesterday,
Like
the
if
next
I wanted
day
to
about
be-
politics in sports. If you talk about last night's Celtics game on the podcast 12 hours later, it's dead.
And you get hate views with politics. So it's like
Sure.
if I wanted to just go full politics, I think I could make myself the most talked about person in the country.
He would
I
hire.
hon-
He'd hire Steve Robinson.
That's what
Let
you
him
want to
it.
do, right?
I honestly believe I could do that.
You've said it. You want to do that. Basically.
No, I
You want to run for president?
yeah, no. I'm just saying if you want to orchestrate views, like it's actually
How about Mutt talking horse racing into politics?
Mutton horse racing just isn't going to work.
But
Unfortunately,
that's all he
It's not
cares
gonna
about.
work.
That's all he cares about.
Well, it's a tough.
And his best friend is in the horse racing. This
Yeah.
is going to be a huge hit.
Listen, maybe if Penn redid their
Oh yeah,
app,
right.
we don't really have a place you can bet, so it does us no good.
Oh, that's true. There's no horse racing there, right?
There is, but it's so crappy. Like I don't use it. Like I
Yeah.
use a competitor. So theoretically, if you're telling people to go bet, you're telling them to go bet with a competitor.
I'll say this about this because I do a lot of the golf stuff now. These guys are quick, man. Somebody makes a birdie or a boat, they change the odds in 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
They got people doing. I'm saying these guys are doing a good job. Let them know. Tell them.
I'm gonna pass it along. Kirk thinks you're doing great.
What do you think about my foray into the gambling world?
I mean, I was following some of the golf picks.
Some have hit.
Yeah, some of you. Yeah, listen, gambling's it's a brutal business.
Yeah, you just bet responsibly.
Would there be merger talks with other competitors? Like they're doing content too, but it sucks.
That would not be in my
Like with who?
Purview.
Who
like DraftKings, like original content is horrific.
Oh,
FanDuel's original content.
What do I? So we don't text much, but when we text, it's always cordial. You always respond to me very quickly, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
What is the thing I check in every 3 or 4 months and ask you about?
I have no idea.
He mentioned the company, Carabas.
Yes.
No go. No promotion.
Did you read?
What?
Did you,
What?
I thought there was a fairly disrespectful article that he had circulating around the interwebs
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe. What?
a month ago.
Really?
Oh, was that the podcast?
Oh, I didn't
Yes.
see it. Oh!
Announcing. It was a
It
Oh, I
wasn't-
didn't see this.
It wasn't.
I didn't see that.
It wasn't fantastic.
Send it to me.
was
I
a
didn't see
little
it.
bit-
Oh, I didn't see this.
It's
a
an
little
art-
bit strange.
It's based off a podcast though. Like,
Oh, I
that what
didn't.
it
I
was?
didn't see this.
It's a
I
little
didn't.
bit strange.
Yeah.
What was the premise of it?
It was like the article's premise was Jared Carabas doesn't want to be associated with Barstool anymore or be known as that.
That can't be true.
But the entire article was about Barstool.
he he loves Barstool.
It was an odd article.
Was the headline not fair?
I just read the article. It had quotes from
No,
him.
everything about the article was fair because it was all.
What was in the
from
article?
podcast.
You mean the headline?
Yeah,
Well,
everything
send me
about
the
it was
story.
fair.
Why didn't we talk about this?
I think we briefly mentioned.
Oh, I have
it
no
'cause
memory.
it-
I
It was
didn't.
like-
I never.
it was like-
Send me that.
tough to like be taken seriously because you worked here.
Ooh, that can't.
Jared
be.
Carabas wants to prove he's not a product of Dave Portnoy and Barstool.
That is okay. Like, hey, like if
What?
it's no, but if it's like, hey, I appreciate working there, but then now I'm on my own. I want to do my own thing.
But
you have to acknowledge why you're there.
the article was kind of like he left.
Send me the story.
The article was sort of along the lines of he left here to prove he's not like Barstool. It's not so much Dave, but it's like that's not really why you left.
1 year ago, Jared Carabas took a risk by attempting to prove he could be successful without the backing of Barstool Sports. So he joined the podcast, shortened to the point, which must be dreadful.
And he didn't really take a risk.
If you're competitive, you want to be the best in the world, it's something you have to take that leap. Admittedly, it would bother me when people are like, oh, you're Dave's bitch. You're going to be nothing without Dave. In my head, I'm thinking that's not true, but I can't prove it. How do I prove that? That's okay. That's okay.
That's literally 100% has nothing to do with why I left this company.
It was just money.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's fair.
So then what is this?
That's fair. Getting the opportunity to step out on our own at the top during his tenure. Your product of the company, your product of your hard work, and I think it's a combination of both. I know Barstool helped me a ton, but there are definitely examples of people who go there and work there and move on. You never hear from them again. According to Carabas, this podcast falls in the category of a product that moved on from Barstool and is better off for it, like Pat McAfee,
financially for sure.
albeit to a much lesser extent.
So
That's tough. I can't.
I just
look,
didn't really get the point of.
I'm trying to be fair here. How would I react to something like that? I would lose my fucking mind. That's
like,
fair.
I didn't
That's
lose my
fair.
mind. It's just like I don't. That's
But you would respond even before the story. No.
what's that?
Even before the story came on, I would check in. You would say no.
Yeah, that has nothing
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
a direct competitor.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well,
it's just,
are they though? I mean, like, does anybody care about this? Like, do any of my? If he comes on my podcast and never mention anything about him, none of my listeners are gonna go listen to this.
no,
podcast.
but if you look like a guy, if you're going at Fox Sports 1 and ESPN. Those guys aren't.
Yeah.
Those you don't appear on the other
No, and I
network.
always say to you, I'm like, I get it. I'm just checking
And the thing
because once in a while you'll tweet in the past.
Yeah,
you've tweeted
I do like it. It's
we all like Carabas, yeah.
That's why I was like,
that would annoy me. That's
because
fair. That
he left under great. I'm like, you're getting a great deal. Take it. Maybe we'll see one. Then that is not why. That article is not why I left, and everyone knows that's not why I left.
But if he quit tomorrow there and was like, hey, can I come back? You would bring him back.
Yeah.
Not what he's making now.
No.
You know they're regretting that. Jesus Christ.
Oh, their stock's killing it. Maybe it's a
maybe he's doing well. We like Jared.
Maybe it's a Carabas effect.
Could
so
be.
he did. He that.
Yeah, that's I get it. I like Jared. But he's on a he's on a podcast. They take things. He's there for an hour. Who knows?
The answer to why he left Barstool
was
is
money.
Because DraftKings paid me a lot more. It
paid him a lot more.
Yeah, we don't like when athletes make up reasons like this, that, the other. So you got paid more. That's why you went.
If you had paid him the same, he'd be a Barstool.
100. If
and
I would paid him less.
And he wouldn't have. And he would not be talking about how he needed to get out.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct.
So your issue's not so much he's bashing Barstool. It's just he's full of shit.
That.
Because I wouldn't call that bashing Barstool.
No, I don't.
It's more like, he
works in a world where there are like baseball, like people who like, oh, we fucking hate Barstool because we're like these woke, and if you're associated, hockey is the same, and we have the biggest hockey podcast in the world.
For sure.
So, again, everything. I like Jared. I think he knows I like him. I'm always going to like him. That article has absolutely nothing to do with why he left here.
Okay, so it's a no-go with him until he's out of his contract.
Correct.
All right, I'll check in a few months on that. Anything else, Dave?
No, I'm good.
All right, Dave, as always.
Pleasure.
Well, I don't know when I'll see you next.
Tomorrow.
Well, if I lose, I may leave.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
But I may stay.
Same with me.
You have a nice steak dinner with your teammates tonight, I heard?
We're going to do dinner. Yeah, big boy dinner.
Okay, so it's you, Eddie, and Clem, that's it?
Yeah.
And that'll be a good night? That's a good conversation?
Either I go back to the hotel, go back to sleep.
Are you on the floor tomorrow?
I'm never invited to these things ever, by the way.
This is a team ZD dinner.
Okay. I was invited to the last steak dinner, to be fair.
The ZD dinner?
No, the Arizona.
Oh yeah,
dinner.
this is a team. I got it to Eddie. He goes, let's keep the morale up. Let's
That's
do a
fair.
team dinner.
Eddie's going to pay for it since he pitched the dinner?
No.
All right, did that mini golf loss bother you? You seemed upset that
Yeah.
day.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you called him a baby today, didn't you?
Well, he just kept saying over and over, like you were ready to choke.
I choked. I put no pressure on him. I started terribly, stormed, got very close, and then I fell apart. And I thought if you could put game pressure on Kirk, it could have told a different story. Yeah, I get competitive in that stuff.
So do I. Well, all right, Dave, as always, thank you.
Yep.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself is a lifelong process. This is because we are always changing and always growing. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness. There you go, dummy. And self-understanding. Well, maybe I'm not dumb. Maybe I should look at that. Maybe I should go to BetterHelp and say, why are you calling yourself that? Is it because you were called that as a child? Who knows? Who's to say? That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp.com/Kirk10. You fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. BetterHelp.com/Kirk10. BetterHelp.com/Kirk10 today to get 10%. All right, so we're back Friday, maybe Wednesday, but definitely Friday. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe we'll do Wednesday. We'll see. Definitely Friday. Now, I mean, the real takeaway from this whole trip now is the Mutt.
Oh, Mutt just annoyed me. I don't know if it'll annoy you.
Portnoy saying that he likes Mutt on the show.
Yep.
And there's a chance for Mutt. And the takeaway is you are burying Mutt.
I didn't bury Mutt.
Absolutely.
No, but horse racing is not.
So
that's
what?
Legit.
Let him do it.
You just give Mutt bad advice, unfortunately.
He can't do anything else.
I know, but the newsletter idea is bad advice. That makes sense. Newsletter horse racing makes sense.
You just told me that was a bad idea. You just said that.
No. Newsletter horse racing makes sense. Radio Boston newsletter does not make sense.
Well, it doesn't.
But,
no one's. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to get him a sympathy job.
Yeah, he just needs to be a role player. Like he'd be a better role player than a lot of people here, probably.
I guess. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we're arriving in New York. We're back maybe tomorrow. It's Tuesday. All right, we're back maybe tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. All right, goodbye.